For more, let's bring in our former Homeland Security Acting Chief of Staff under President Trump and now with the Heritage Foundation, Laura Reese. Laura, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
When you look at what DHS is now trying to do, they're focusing on trying to get 300,000 migrant arrests and deportations a day. Do you think that's achievable?
Well, it needs to be done for sure. And really, the deportations are the measure. That is what President Trump ran on during his campaign. That is what he has promised, and that's what Americans voted for and continue to support. It's also one of the reasons why self-deportations are so important. Yes, arrests lead to detention, which tends to lead to deportations, but it is really about the deportation numbers. And it's also why Congress needs to hurry up and pass that reconciliation bill to give ICE the added resources to carry out its job.
Yeah, and you mentioned it was such a priority for the president during the campaign. He certainly was focused on it when he came in on day one. What have been some of the impediments? You mentioned what the House is trying and the Congress is trying to do to give ICE more funding, more tools. What has stood in the way of getting to that number?
Well, it's been a couple of things. One are very activist judges at the U.S. District Court level across the board have tried to thwart the Trump policy changes and enforcement of the law. And second, we've got activists out in the communities who are tipping off alien populations that ICE is coming, threatening ICE agents. And so all of this has an impact on ICE's ability to enforce the law and protect Americans.
Mm-hmm. The court decisions some have ruled for the president, some or for the administration, some have ruled against it. The most recent one allowed the administration to cancel temporary protective status for 4 different nations. It probably will lead to about 500,000 people no longer having that status that would allow them to stay in the country. How consequential was that decision, and do you see the administration expanding that to other nationalities?
Well, it was an important decision, but it's also an easy case.
Mm-hmm.
The Secretary of Homeland Security has discretion to give immigration parole to an alien and has discretion to end it. And so this isn't really a role for the federal court system. And frankly, many more of these other cases involving temporary protected status should be thrown out because the statute clearly says there's no judicial review for this type of case. So we should expect to see more of this. But some of these judges are giving away the game. They're saying that they don't want 500,000 or more aliens illegally here to suddenly be deportable and deported. Well, blame the Biden administration for creating this situation in the first place. But secondly, it is the Trump administration's job to enforce the law, and that's what he's doing.
The Supreme Court is probably going to hear a lot more immigration cases. Which ones are you watching? How much authority do you think they will confirm or maybe reject for the administration?
I think 2 big ones will be the birthright citizenship case. The Trump administration properly scoped the executive order that President Trump signed to say that if you're going to have a child born here, that child will only be given citizenship if the parent is either a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. That's consistent with past case law from the Supreme Court. So I do suspect that the Trump administration can win on that. The other interesting one will be on using the Alien Enemies Act with respect to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. And do those facts fit the statute that Congress passed, long ago?
Mm-hmm. Another role for the Department of Homeland Security is FEMA, and we are entering the Atlantic hurricane season. There have been concerns about cuts to forecasting, cuts to response. Do you think that FEMA has enough to do its job?
Well, like so many other departments in the government, as we've seen with DOGE, there has been bloated bureaucracies, wasteful spending, and FEMA, like other agencies, need to be trimmed so that it is fully efficient. But the larger issue with FEMA is also shifting responsibility, planning response back to the states and localities. Frankly, they've become too reliant on the federal government to spend taxpayer money, particularly in response, yet it's the states and localities that are best situated. They're the most nimble to respond more quickly to their citizens' needs.
And that's typically it. Usually the first line response does come from state and local governments, right?
That's right. The classic example, FEMA will say prepare for 3 days before we can get there. And if you think about Hurricane Ian in Florida, and Governor Ron DeSantis DeSantis there was a bridge that was cut off from the mainland, and Florida was able to rebuild that within 3 days. FEMA wouldn't have even have been there for at least that long. So that's a great example of how quickly states can respond themselves, but best know also what that they need.
All right, Laura Rice, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.